Hey everyone, Shawn Clement here, Richmond Hill Golf Learning Center, headquarters for wisdom in golf. And today we're talking about, I get this question a lot as a teacher, and I realized that, I didn't put out a video, even though we talk about this in many of my videos. We haven't put a very specific video on this, and it's called the pause at the top. Shawn, how do you get that nice pause at the top? How do you do like HIDEKI Matsuyama? He's got this beautiful pause at the top of the swing. He looks so poised. And the answer is, it just happens. And how do I get it to just happen? Well, the key to using your instrument, the key to the golf swing, there are two separate systems that you can use to perform the task of putting a golf ball to a club face. And one of them is really, really good, and the other one is not so good at all. And it's the one that you're trying to get out of right now. So if I was a surgeon, or if I was an engineer or a graphic designer, I would be parked in front of my table in a statue. And so my brain would freeze my body so I could perform these very precise manipulations with my digits. And for a lumberjack, that would spell disaster, because if he was freezing his body while he had this beautiful 6-pound axe getting ready to deliver a blow to the side of the tree, he'd be in a nasty predicament. So the lumberjack, on the other hand, is using the weight of the instrument, and while using the weight of the instrument, notice that nice pause? The brain now knows how to react to that specific weight to not be in the way. So if you're in the way of something heavy, well, you're going to hurt yourself. So out of pure self-preservation, because you're a gravity expert, a gravity genius, you know how to remove yourself. So if I had, if you look at, when you're bowling, let me get my kettlebell here, which is a fantastic little tool to perform this task. So if you have, let's say, a 10-pound kettlebell and you want to swing it from the side here, let's say I'm going to go towards you. Well, if I don't move my body, my arm is going to hit the side of my rib cage, and I'm going to give myself a big knuckleball in the head. So if I allow that to come your way, see what happens? Now my body's gliding out of the way. It's not going to fire out of the way and rip the damn shoulder socket out. And it's not going to stay in the way where I'm going to hit myself. It's wonderfully timing everything at 12 million bits per second. Let it pass. There you go. Let it pass. Let it pass. Let it pass. On the way back out of the way, on the way through out of the way. So notice there's this wonderful pause that I get when I'm swinging that kettlebell. So if you had a hammer in your hands and you wanted to tag a nail one shot into a 2x4, that would require a heck of a lot of effort. And the effort comes from the transition. So I yank the hammer up, I got to put the brakes on, then I got to shove the hammer down. And I feel the tightness in my core, in my arm, and my shoulder. And if I keep doing that, I will definitely rip something, okay? Whereas if I'm a seasoned individual or a seasoned lumberjack, I'm going to take the weight of the hammer, and I'm going to use the weight of the hammer to pound that nail one shot into that 2x4. And with practice, I'm going to get really good at it. So the pause that you see at the top of my backswing is me understanding how I'm going to use the weight of my arm instrument unit, right? So I'm feeling the weight of my instrument, and I'm going to use the weight of the instrument to deliver the task, which for me is cut through a dandelion stem that way. So, or feel the weight of the sword slash through. So when I'm slashing through something, notice how the weight of the sword is going to release me. Now, I'm not going to go, man, that's a lot of work. I mean, you really will get out of that very quickly. if you're using a sword. So then you'll start understanding, wow, look at that nice pause you have at the top of the backswing. Well, that's because you're out of the manipulative state and you're into the reaction to weight state. So that's why we say wait for the weight. I am feeling the weight of the instrument, and I'm going to use the weight of the instrument to cut through that dandelion stem toward that keep out sign into my nice finish. Gather through to the finish. So notice I was able to gather nicely, so everything became suspended. And that's simply me letting the club change directions on its own. So here's me not interfering with the change of direction. See that? I'm just waiting. So the disadvantage of a golf club, especially when it's very light, that's why I don't advocate you getting too light a golf club. Obviously too heavy is no good either, but you need to be able to feel the weight of your club reasonably well so that you don't place push, right? So when you take it back and shove it through like a pit bull with a rag doll, then your brain has no time to get the body to activate, right? So you yank it back, shove it through, and the brain goes, hey, freeze that body. Looks like you're trying to manipulate the club to hit the ball hard or place the club face to the ball. Versus use the weight of the club to deliver through that stem out there. There it is again. So I am simply a seasoned lumberjack using the weight of my instrument to deliver through into the picture I want to start the ball. So use something heavier like a kettlebell or a hammer and really get to feel how you would perform your tasks with these instruments. And then, you know, plug that into your golf swing. You say, okay, if this was a heavy axe, that's why you'll see a nice oldie but goodie sledgehammer golf, SHAWN CLEMENT. So I'm feeling the weight of my axe, and watch how accurate this is. It's extremely accurate. I get my golf measurement, I grab the axe, and I'm going to heave it back. So notice how my brain is using the ground to remove my body out of the way. So I get this beautiful centered turn in my backswing. And then the arm club unit starts to levitate up. And as it levitates up, my right hand can glide down and catch the point between the two pads of my hand. And then I'm going to let the momentum come through. So whether you're able to get it back to overlap, don't try to interlock, just let it come back together. So heave and let the weight of the axe come through. So you see how accurate that was? That was spot on, right in the center of the club face. So down the line, of course, I'm not gonna swing at this. There's your axe, heave. So notice how it heaves right on plane. How about that? Well, gosh, if you wanted to deliver an axe to the base of the tree at the level of the ground, would you ever heave it behind you? Don't think so. You just took your Achilles tendon out and you're, struggling in the bush. If I heave it away from me, now it falls into my ankle. Not good. If I heave it straight up above me, now it's just following tree bark into the ground. Not good. The only place that my brain knows where to heave is where it needs to be so that the axe can fall back through right at the base of that, right where the dandelion stem is, between the ground and the equator of the ball, and off you go. So you're always going to be better than ballpark when you do that. You may hit some thin ones. That was spot on, super flush and super powerful. So this is a fantastic exercise for you to really get a sense of how you're going to use the weight of the instrument. So coming back to one more shot for you. Gather. Release through the slash dandelion stem out in the direction I want that ball to go. Enjoy that. We'll see you in the next one.